Welcome everybody to the 30th episode of SEO for Bloggers. I'm your host, Melissa.
Wow, 30th.
I know. We're middle-aged. And today we'll be talking about AI-generated content and ChatGPT with experts Casey Markey, Arsen Rabinovich, Andrew Wilder, and special guest Brett Tabke. Brett is the founder of Webmaster World and PepCon, the longest-running educational conference series in the SEO industry. He's a well-deserved recipient of the U.S. Search Awards Lifetime Achievement Award, and he is a big believer in community building. So naturally, we're very excited to have him sharing his decades worth of industry knowledge with us today. So Brett, thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you being here.
Happy to be here.
Everyone else. Yeah, everyone else is joining. Thanks too. Just a reminder, we will be having a Q&A at the end. So please feel free to drop any and all questions in the Q&A section, which you can find below. And if you haven't already, let us know where you're tuning in from in the chat box. So let's get started, shall we? Andrew, a lot of the attendees had the question of just like, where do I get started? So for someone who knows nothing about AI, where or how would you recommend them starting to use it?
Well, so I think the first thing to realize is AI is already here and you're already using it. For I don't know how many years you guys would know, Google's been using AI to process search results, so like AI means a lot of different things. I think what we're going to be talking about today is the tools where you can have it generate content mostly, right? Where you're interacting with the AI directly and giving it prompts and saying, hey, make me this. So the most popular one right now, the two things I'm going to mention are coming from a group called OpenAI. They're basically sort of spearheading this. I think it's a nonprofit actually. And so they're developing these tools and they're releasing them to the public and everybody's like losing their minds, right? So last year they released DALL-E 2, which was a image generation program. So you can give it a prompt, you can say, create a 3D rendering of a dog on a skateboard, and in about 15 seconds you get 4 versions of that. And yes, thank you, Garrett. Microsoft's been funding OpenAI and AI and ChatGPT. So it takes a tremendous amount of computing power to do this. So that 15 seconds, like it blows my mind how much it's actually doing there. But then you can actually then take it and have it change the image a little bit. You can say, okay, that image is good, but let's change this part and remove the background or things like that. So DALL-E 2 is the image generation program. I'm going to drop a chat in the link in the drop a link in the chat. I'm mixing my words.
Thank you.
And then more recently, what kind of burst onto the scene was ChatGPT, which is a text-based chatbot. And so you can give it a prompt, you ask it a question, and it'll give you an answer. You watch it literally write it on the fly. And then you can give it another prompt. And the key to this is it remembers that conversation. So everything you talk about in that thread, it's using all of that information. And then actually, as you go, it'll save that chat and you can start a new chat, new session. But in that session, it's referential. So if you say, create a paragraph on this topic, and then it does it, and you say, you're thinking, oh, that's good, but it's too long. You can literally just say shorter and it'll rewrite it shorter. You don't have to give it the prompt again. So it's kind of iterative. So I'm going to drop that link in the chat too. I think you need a free account to log in to these tools to use them, but you can just create an account and log in. If you haven't tinkered with it yet, I suggest you wait till you have a lot of time because it's a rabbit hole. You're going to start, and then like hours later, you're going to be like, wait, it can do that too. It's
a rabbit hole.
It's definitely a rabbit hole. But it's both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. So there you go.
It's really cool to see other people generating stuff. I think there's like Reddit threads too that I've seen. I love everybody's ideas. It's fascinating. But I guess another major concern of everybody was just if Google can detect AI or people using ChatGPT to create content. So Brett, is this something that content creators should be worried about like now or in the future anytime soon?
The standard SEO joke these days is it depends. They came out today and tried to clarify with a blog post what they were saying, and it was clear as mud. They never actually said whether they can detect it or whether they want to detect it or if they're trying to detect it. But there's about 10 different really good AI content detectors out there right now. And most of them have varying degrees from a little bit AI, kind of AI, mostly AI. And there's all kinds of ways around it. And the question is, should Google actually care? And what are they actually going to care about? Are they looking for you and me throwing up a blog post and running it through ChatGPT and then tweaking it to ourselves and putting it on our blog? Or are they after the person trying to write a million product descriptions on an affiliate site with ChatGPT? They're probably going to flag the latter, but I just don't think Google's going to care a whole lot about it, because the default value of ChatGPT, the writing level, is higher than the general writing level on the web.
That's right.
So it's actually going to improve the writing on the web if it's
right.
used properly. So why should they care?
Yeah.
Why should they care is my question. If it's going to make things better for them, why not use it? So should we be worried about it? Yeah, I'm going to take steps around it if I do use ChatGPT. I'm going to run it through an article spinner. I'm going to run it through Grammarly to tweak it a bit. Then I'm going to throw my own spin on it. But I won't be putting it up raw. So
yeah,
there we go.
I think they said in the article you're talking about, use it responsibly.
Right.
And I use finger quotes. But great. Yes. Awesome. Casey, so where is ChatGPT actually getting all of its information from? We had a lot of people wondering, are they mining blogs for information, et cetera?
No, it's just a specific room in a garage in LA. It's illegal aliens mostly, and they're not here on good visas. No.
Monkeys at the keyboard.
Monkeys at the keyboard. No, it's we've mentioned this kind of when Andrew was talking. This is we call it generative artificial intelligence. It's a large language model. It was created by OpenAI, and it's trained on a diverse range of texts found on the internet, websites, books, social media, podcasts. We call this a corpus, and it's basically the cutoff date of all the data was 2021. So literally, there are things you can put into ChatGPT, and it has no idea what you're talking about because it only has information up until 2021. And that means the information available comes from sources that existed on the internet until 2021, and it's not equipped with more recent information. So despite that limitation, and if you ask me, it's not a huge limitation, but it is if you're asking it to generate a list of most recent tools. There's a lot of tools that won't be on there. It's capable of generating answers that are both helpful and informative, and it produces those answers in a very human-like response that makes you think, oh my God, it's like I'm talking to a real person. And I think that's what's so stunning about what we're getting in return, is that it's very nice. We can even change the tone. People can play around with it and say, hey, can you generate me a complete response to this as if I was talking to Mark Twain? Or, hey, could you use this in a way that would be like I was talking to a 10-year-old? And that's helped me considerably because I'm just not very bright. So It's good. I've been able to do that, dumb things down, especially for my kids. It's pretty interesting, but yeah, that's how it works. What is it? What is a generative pre-trained transformer? Fancy way of saying that this is just a large language model. It's just something that's trained on a large amount of information, and it generates thing one word at a time. It does predictive auditing, so to speak, to provide what it isn't really true AI. It's just predictive alliteration.
Well, it does feel like we are talking to people. And then, there's the fear now that, okay, are they going to, is all that kind of content going to create no room for actual content creators who want to stay creative? So Brett, is this the beginning of the end of blogging as we know it?
No, I don't think so. I think it actually helps us quite a bit, because one of the good things that ChatGPT, they're perfect at, is finding your blind spots,
Right.
I'm sure we've all been in a meeting where the boss comes in and says, hey, we're going to do project X, and now we need all these great ideas on how to execute it. And the room goes silent. Nobody has a single idea what to do. And then somebody says, well, if we're going to build roads or something, maybe we ought to put up some street signs or road markings or something. And then you're off to the races because somebody come up with a dumb idea. Well, ChatGPT is that guy in the room. He comes up with 9 stupid ideas and one really good one that you never thought of.
That's right.
I really think it helps with creativity. And then when you go back to what Casey was saying there, what was it trained on? Well, like ChatGPT was trained on, it started on Wikipedia. It took all of Wikipedia, and then it took all the references from Wikipedia. So those have all been hand filtered, human filtered. It's kind of like the same way when PageRank was started. What they do to seed it? They seeded it with Yahoo. So they seeded ChatGPT with Wikipedia, and then they went to WebMD, and then they went to all the programming places, PHP, Perl, all of the authoritative documentation on those programming languages to get that one central transformer. And now the creativity part where ChatGPT is just awesome is like, you remember in The Matrix when it was the first big movie that did morphing, that was able to morph between and come up with a picture in the middle between two pictures. And that was the amazing part about The Matrix. Well, that's what ChatGPT does. It has these two things. It's got something off of Wikipedia, and then it's got something off of WebMD. And then you ask it a question and it tries to predict the middle. And then from there, it kind of tries to predict what should come next. And so like on TikTok the other day, there was a doctor who asked it, hey, diagnose this patient. And so it diagnosed it right. And it was a rare thing. It was right. But then it said, well, where did you figure that out at, ChatGPT? Give me some sources. And it just made up a whole bunch of sources. Didn't even know how it came to be.
It was like I was having an argument with my wife in real time.
Exactly.
I came to the right conclusion, but I could not support my argument.
So I think creativity's out there, and in fact, it enhances us. I think Microsoft's on the right idea here, calling it a co-pilot, kind of an assistant to help you in everything you do. So I think it helps our creativity, actually.
Awesome. I also love that Matrix reference. Thank you for that. Arsen, how do you see AI being most successfully used in food blogging?
So that's like, so it's a good question. So I see two possibilities right now that can be helpful to bloggers, and that I am kind of like comfortable with them using. The first one, and we have a team member who's all about AI, Dan. If those of you who work with us, you know who Dan is. He's been doing a lot of stuff with AI. So the first thing would be to help with content topic ideation. Yeah, it sucks because we have a service when we do topic ideation and we sell this service, but you can. So let's say you want to create a topical silo of apple pie or apple based desserts, and you want to figure out like, hey, what are complementary topics or complementary recipes to apple pie, and you can have ChatGPT come up with that for you. And we actually did it. I have notes here, and it right away came back with caramel apple tart, apple crumb cake, apple galette, I don't even know how to pronounce that, apple strudel, apple dumplings, baked apple cider donuts, and gives you descriptions for that. So as a way to help with content ideation, topic ideation, I think it's a really good tool for that. The second one is identifying entities or missed entities in your writing. So you can take your entire post and drop it in there, and then ask it to identify any missing entities. And we did that. We do that. We've done that. I think the prompt is, are any key entities missing from the content I submitted? And then it came back with cooking time, oven temperature, amount of butter, amount of cinnamon. So all of these things are useful. And for those of you who have gone through our coaching program, we talk about SEMrush's content tool, which helps with identifying those missing entities. ChatGPT will do that for you. So those two things I'm very comfortable with food bloggers using right now.
Okay. And that's to get started. But Casey, for people looking to re-optimize, what are some ways to re-optimize blog posts that they have using AI or ChatGPT?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So basically, let's say that we wanted to, I'm just going to paste it over here, but there's a fantastic amount of stuff that you can do if you were just to pop that in. Hey, in a ChatGPT. Oh man, how come it's not allowing me to paste? I think that the problem is that my responses are so awesome that I'm not able to paste everything fully into it. So we'll do smaller and see if that works.
Yeah, it's not letting me.
Hey, look at that. There we go. The issue is too big. Yeah. I'll keep my jokes on that to another day. So we'll just link that here. And there you go. So if you were, for example, take a look at this. So this is if you were to paste over, if you were to ask ChatGPT, what are some of the best ways to optimize blog posts? This is what it will spit out to you, and they're very good answers. You get keyword research. You can use ChatGPT to generate a list of relevant keywords and phrases related to your blog topic. You can use it for content generation. You can use ChatGPT to generate high quality, unique content for your blog posts. You can use it for titles. You can use it for headline optimization. You can use it for readability analysis. You can even use it for link suggestions. You could go in, you could find a related link that you like and say, hey, I can't get a link from this site. Could you give me a list of other possible link targets that I could reach out to for? And voila, there's 7 to 10 options right there. I have shown this online to multiple bloggers this week during their live audits, and they've all just been blown away at how much, oh my God, I really like this. One of the really cool prompts that we've been using regularly is like, put in these 3 ingredients. Please generate me a list of recipes that I can use for these 3 ingredients. And it will literally print out 7 to 10 options for you to make these recipes. And then the bloggers look at that, oh my gosh, this is saving me so much time. And then they could just expand those recipes out. Or one of the things that you really want to think about is saving yourself time, taking back more of your schedule. Pins, we all have pins. We all have to do a lot of detailed pinning for Pinterest. If you've got a photo and you've got to write 5 pin descriptions, I'm going to take 1 pin description. I'm going to go over to ChatGPT and I'm going to tell it to spin that and provide me 4 other related pin descriptions, all that says the same thing, but in different ways. And then I'm going to paste those 5 options back into my individual pins. Saves you a ton of time. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So I'm going to go ahead and paste over a link to some really great options for you to kind of see if I can find it here. Yeah, I'm going to share a cheat sheet from the firm Neural Magic that provides a great overview of all the different ways you can use prompts.
Thank you.
Check that out. Well worth your time.
I see we're having issues copying and pasting all this stuff. Casey, do you mind providing some stuff for us for the recap next week so we can share?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Sounds great.
I'm not sure why it's not pasting everything over, but good times.
Yeah, we're working it out.
The AI overlords are not happy with all this information
we're
giving out.
We're doing our best.
I think in the chat box, there's 3 little dots that say more. If you click on that, I think there's a save chat button behind that.
All right.
Everybody can see that.
No, there you go.
Andrew, you're the best.
I don't care what they say, Andrew. You are the best.
He's okay.
Wait.
It's the fine print. I couldn't see it. Arsen, I know we already touched on this a little bit earlier, but it is a good place then to ask for keywords on a topic. Would you recommend it?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to take the keywords, but then obviously, treat it as a tool, right? I wouldn't necessarily take it and run with it. Treat it as a tool, have it be your starting point, and then obviously take it into whatever your favorite tool is, SEMrush, Ahrefs, whichever one you use. But yeah, definitely a good starting point.
Yeah. Okay, great. Andrew, how can a blogger use AI to help them streamline or speed up their workflow when creating content? Is this a good alternative for people who are extremely stuck in writer's block, for instance?
Yes, and I'll illustrate this with a story from last weekend. So we are working on updating the NerdPress website. We've got some frequently asked questions that were a few years old, so we're updating all of them. And we were working on one question, and we had a draft in Google Docs, right? We started writing there, and Heather and I were working on it over Zoom, and we were kind of stuck on one paragraph. And we've had a few people chime in where we were stuck. We were like, okay, this is kind of the right idea, but the wording is clunky, and it just wasn't coming out right. And so I literally took the 2 sentences, pasted it into ChatGPT, and said, rewrite this, but make it more casual. And it took a couple iterations, but it ended up coming up with something so much better than we had originally. We have language about being, we like to be a partner, not a vendor for our clients, right? It actually twisted that a little bit and said, we're like a supportive partner, not a vendor. And I'm like, what? That's so much better. So even if we got the rest of the sentence right, so it added this layer of something that we had not imagined. And now on the website, I'm really happy with the result. It conveys exactly what we wanted. So it really it was the perfect way to get over this hurdle, this little bit of writer's block. We had it, I pasted in some of the questions and I didn't love the answers because they were a little generic. So I did find it was better to work in small bits. So, instead of having to write a whole long thing, the spot you're stuck on. And then I didn't use a lot that was verbatim. But it would have turns of phrase that were really good. And that would and then if we flip it around, suddenly, what we were working on would work now. So it was really a lot of fun, actually, and very liberating. And it's just a really powerful tool. It's sort of like Amy just said, it's the world's best thesaurus. Yeah, it's like that, right? And so and doing this actually reaffirmed for me, this isn't taking over. So it's not that good. It'll get better, but it's not that good. So
I feel like a lot of people are working as a one-man army when they're running their blogs too. So I feel like if this is something they could offset almost as a virtual assistant, right? That would be really helpful for a lot of them. I know that when we're on calls all the time with clients, Arsen and I, there's a lot of, well, where can I go to for this? And I feel like this is going to be a great option as it kind of grows.
I mean, while we were talking, I did ask the question, the specific question, right? And it came back with a long answer. I said, make it shorter. So here's the shorter version. ChatGPT can help bloggers streamline and speed up their workflows by 1, generating content ideas, outlines, and articles; 2, performing research and answering questions; 3, proofreading and editing articles for grammar, spelling, and structure; 4, optimizing content for search engines. This can save time and improve the quality of content, allowing bloggers to focus on the creative aspect of their work.
Yeah.
And that is great. But let's talk about the real world applications of this incredible tool. Like last night when I forgot to empty the dishwasher and I'm like, oh crap, I need a really good excuse. So I just go to ChatGPT and it was able to generate me like 7 really good excuses. And I used the one about temporary loss of power and totally saved my ass. So I mean, that is really good. Temporary loss of power is the way to go. ChatGPT saving marriages every day.
I mean,
telling you right now, folks.
Like, the more you use it, the more you think of applications for it. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
So you're like, oh wait, hang on, why didn't I go there sooner?
Yeah.
Hey, I had to write a book for my kid.
Amy.
That's amazing, Brett.
Quiet. Keep it between us, Amy. Goodness. Tattletale.
A lot of people are going to be prompting it tomorrow to, I don't want to go to work tomorrow, right?
Can you give me some excuses? Better yet, can you generate me a valid doctor's note?
Well, legitimately, my daughter's car died last Friday night at 9 o'clock at school. And so I raced downtown 20 minutes to get there. And a nice kid stayed with her before I got there, sat with her in the car. It was the middle of downtown, so it was great. A nice kid from school stayed with her until I got there. And so I needed to write this email to the parents and say, thank you so much for the kid staying there. And I don't know, I was just like writer's block or something. I couldn't write it. And so I asked ChatGPT and it came back with about 4 sentences that were just absolutely perfect. Tweaked it a little bit and sent it to him. So
one of my friends had it help him with writing a toast for his buddy's wedding, finding the perfect gift for his fiance, all kinds of stuff.
And we're getting good at this really fast.
Right.
Everybody is getting so good at this really fast.
So that's funny.
I had I wanted to say, Arsen, I know we spoke about this yesterday, but Zapier is integrated now with OpenAI.
Yep.
And I saw somebody kind of, explaining how they're using it. And it's just like, do you have an idea that comes to mind and you don't have time to jot it down or kind of like work on it? It's create a Zap for that. And it's amazing. I love that. So, tool sets, there's a lot. So Brett, which tools would you recommend? I know there's
Zapier is awesome. And what it's so awesome about is if you have an idea, like you can use a WordPress plugin that queries ChatGPT to write you a blog post, and then queries Zapier to take that blog post and drop it into Quillbot and have it tweaked, and then have it take it out of Quillbot and throw it into Grammarly to have it grammar checked and put it back into your WordPress, and it'll pass most AI content detectors right there.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So the thing we got to remember about all these tools is most of them, like Zapier, are just skins over an open AI API call. So most of them are just calling it on the backside. So be careful with stuff like I believe Jasper is using OpenAI.
Yeah, now they are. They decided to just switch over it and not tell anybody. Hey,
Yes,
might as
that's
well use OpenAI because it's better. Or we'll
right.
use,
Exactly.
we'll just use ChatGPT, even though we're
Exactly.
supposed to be offering something unique. I'm like, no, thanks.
And it also does is optimize prompts is all they're doing is optimize
That's it.
prompts. And if you study the reverse prompt engineering, and in fact, somebody on Twitter today, there's this massive thread. They've already jailbroke Bing ChatGPT. They've already got it out there. How to what Bing is saying to keep it in the so-called guardrails.
Oh,
keep
nice.
to
So I
keep
can
it
imagine.
legit. So there's
Good
that.
time.
But I use ChatGPT for everything, like everybody was saying, titles, all your metadata, all your keywords, all your content,
Robots files, all that.
Yeah, I just use it for everything. But I would clean it up a little bit before, if you're going to do this in bulk, before you throw it into Google. Give it a little bit of a scrub. Put your own spin on it.
It's a little spinny spin.
Yeah.
Unless it's excuses for the dishwasher, and then boom, verbatim.
There you
No
go.
need. Don't mess with what works. It's
Well,
totally
your wife
okay.
isn't Google, so
It's all good. It's all good.
Speaking of what it can and can't do good, I think we had this talk a little bit earlier, but is it good at writing recipes, Arsen?
Yes, it is good at writing recipes, but most of the from the bloggers that I've talked to who've used it to write recipes, and it did a really good job of writing the recipes, but when they actually cook the recipes, they tasted like crap.
Yeah, I bet.
So until AI has taste buds, you guys should be good as content creators.
Careful. Yeah, be careful.
Right. But look, it is really good. If you give it the proper instructions, it will do a good job. I think Andrew's been playing around with that also, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, we did this. Amy's on the call. We did this live with Amy where she had a really simple. Amy, you'll have to let me. Can't remember what it was. Was it overnight oats or something? But when we just kept refining it down, I'm like, the first one came through live on the call and said, "Oh, this is pretty good." And then we refined it down. Now rewrite it like I was a 10-year-old and was like, "Oh my gosh, let's even simpler." So it can save you a lot of time, especially if we need to dumb anything down. Maybe there's some extraneous steps in your recipe that you don't necessarily need. That'd be a good testing bed to take a look at that.
Well, Casey, can it actually generate images and graphics for blog posts?
Well, chat can't right now, but there's plenty of other options out there that can. So when we're talking about, I think I said, here's an article. I'm going to go ahead and paste over an article where it has multiple best AI image generators. And there's two really good ones that I would want to make a note of for everyone on the call. And the first one is Dolly 2, which I know that Andrew has been using for quite a while with extreme hilarity, including with his featured images that he's been using lately. And the second, and the way that Dolly 2 works is it's put out by OpenAI, and it's an extremely advanced image generator. It can generate a variety of digital art and illustrations from text. So whatever you can describe, it can put together. And again, sometimes with extremely hilarious results. And another great option is Dream Studio. It's also known as Stable Diffusion. And it's an open source model that converts text prompts into images, and it does it in seconds. It's super fast, and it can produce like these photorealistic artworks by combining an uploaded photo and a written description. And that's really been an emerging trend all over the internet because people are trying to sell these unique works of art and people are buying them. So it's kind of like virtual NFTs, so to speak, in a way, in that people are trying to use this. Hey, I always wanted to be an artist. So I'm just going to use Stable Diffusion to write all these masterpieces and see what we see. So
yeah,
follow your dream. The world is your oyster.
We'll touch on it later, but I know that people have concerns about, copyright and things of that nature. But
what is that? Copyright?
Before we get there, hold on.
Never heard that. I've never heard that.
Andrew, what are some of the best prompts to use for SEO in particular?
I think we've already talked on a bunch of them, right? So SEO is so broad. I'm not quite sure how to answer that, to be honest, because it's like, well, what are you trying to solve? What problem are you trying to solve, right? Ask that question, and then you have to start refining. So we talked about like keyword ideas. I think you could do it for keyword research. Start there and then start refining. But more like I'm more interested in using it for like idea generation. Ideation. Thank you. So like if you want to write a new recipe, but you're not sure exactly what you want to do, you can start if experimenting with it to see what strikes something with you, and then you can run with it from there. But title tags, heading tags, you can just ask it to write that stuff. And the nice thing about ChatGPT is because it's that conversation, you don't have to keep giving it individual prompts. It iterates kind of throughout the conversation. I mean, writing prompts is definitely a skill. I think we're probably going to start seeing people who are like specialists in prompting AI. Like
there's already job listings
right.
for prompt engineers or
right.
whatever they're calling it.
Because it's hard to get the thing to do exactly what you want. And if you have an end of something in mind, right, you have to kind of course correct and finesse it there. So I think, yeah, I don't think you can say, hey, what would Arson tell me, right, about my blog post? Like it's not like that kind of prompt, I guess.
Where you play with it, I think you will figure it out. Like we said, the rabbit hole, you kind of got to go down it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fun. I had somebody ask if the Dolly was free, like ChatGPT.
It gives you like 15 credits a month.
Okay.
And you can pay for it. I think it works out like 13 cents per generation. Which, if you think about it, 13 cents buys that's a lot of computing power, right?
Yeah.
So that's how much it's taking to do this. But you can definitely tinker it. I think last I looked, your first month you got 50 credits, so you can experiment with it a little bit more, and then you can buy like 100 credits at a time or something.
Do they have a community feed over there where you can see what other people have generated on Dolly, like Midjourney does?
I haven't seen one. I know you can share individual ones, but I haven't seen
Okay.
full time.
Gotcha.
Arson, is it going to get crazy competitive now because everybody's using AI?
I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna. And I'd love to hear what Brett thinks about this, because he's definitely has better vision on this than I do. Look, I think it's gonna make it easier. It's gonna make the work easier, especially for bloggers, for content creators. Do I think that there will be other ways for Google to outside of just on top of that, or outside of the watermarking, right? Do I think Google's going to implement other technologies to really gauge the usefulness of the content and how it's being generated and all of that? Absolutely. I think the expertise, experience, authority, and trust signaling is going to become even more important. I have a feeling we might see a resurrection of authorship as a strong signal. It was a big thing, I think, a few years, not even more than a few things back, and kind of just went away. Definitely, I think Google and other search engines will become much better at identifying AI generated content, and it will slowly level the playing field. But look, the crappy content's been around. We used to spin content, we used to rewrite content, we used to do phrase rewrites, we used to do a spindex code where you would like do, did, take, like all different words, same meaning. We used to do all this stuff back in like 2008, 2009, 2010, and Google caught on to that really quickly. So I think right now I wouldn't be too worried about it. Yes, it might seem overwhelming. Yes, you will see an increase in content being produced using AI. I think it's going to get cleaned up fairly quickly. But I'd love to hear what Brett has to say about this.
You're not going to be replaced by an AI, but I think you're going to be replaced by somebody using AI. They're going to just take it to the next level. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to get more competitive. And we're already seeing it, I think, because the guys who are using AI, their titles are better, their tags are better, their URLs are better, their content's actually better, because they're eliminating all their blind spots. And yeah, some people say we don't have voice in ChatGPT. It doesn't sound like us, but I think you can get there. I think you can get there. And the thing is, this is the worst it's ever going to be. Here we go. From here on out, it's going to get better. It's going to get constantly better. So yeah, I think it's going to get more competitive, but it's also going to get more creative. So
I think people are just freaked out by this is because it's a new thing they have to learn. And that's why it feels weird, and that's why it's scary and it's strange. It's a new set of skills that you have to acquire in order to be on the same playing field with everybody else. But once you actually dive in and create processes and get comfortable with it, you'll see that you're working smarter. You're definitely helping yourself out with this.
Yep.
But just to keep it going, if a topic is going to be asked by more than one person over and over again, is there likelihood of this like repetition happening, a plagiarism? Should we be concerned about copyright and intellectual property and things like that?
Right. Getting the same thing out of ChatGPT is actually kind of challenging. To get two people to get the same output is a bit of a challenge. You got to wipe everything. You got to say new, and then you got to ask it in the exact same way. There's something to do with time of day as well. So it's kind of hard to get the exact same content out of ChatGPT. We tried the other day to get the 10 same lists of what are the top 10 ChatGPT prompts. And there were 4 of us on the call, and we couldn't get the same thing 4 times in a row. We got a lot of the same things, but none of us got the same list 4 different times. So I don't think plagiarism is a huge concern, especially if you're going to spin it a little bit before you put it out there, put your own mark on it. So, there's personalization. We've talked about Google being personalized based on your search history and what you've clicked on history. ChatGPT takes that amps it up to 1,000 because they know what you've asked it, where you are. It really opens up personalization. So I'm not worried too much about plagiarism. What I am worried about, though, is the copyright aspect, especially the images. Getty has been hyper aggressive at suing anybody and everyone related to copyright. In the end, I think they'll get turned away in the courts because it's going to come back to the same thing of derivative works that we went through with the thumbnail suits in 2000 through 2005. Google was sued mercilessly and they never lost. The only time they ever lost was against Getty here when they switched to Google Images. What was that, 4 years ago, I think, when they had to switch Google Images. So I'm not that worried about copyright because you get derivative works on the images. And I'm definitely not worried about it on text. It's just not a thing on text. So you're not going to.
And again, I know that's small solace to those on the call are thinking, okay, well, geez, what are we going to do about recipes? How do we stop people from just going straight to ChatGPT, typing in a recipe for spaghetti carbonara and just taking that and doing whatever they want?
And it will.
People will. There's nothing you can do about it. Number one, we can't copyright recipes, and number two, even if we put some ad, we can redo those. I can put in the recipe. I can change some of the prompts considerably, and it's a completely different recipe. I can even, and if you think that, even in the instructions, I've been able to write a complete recipe post using ChatGPT, and it's only requiring me to do a couple prompts.
Right.
I think that is absolutely something that will help some content creators, but will absolutely cause a lot of sleepless nights for others. I think the big question here, Brett, and I don't think we have it as a question here, so let's go ahead and get into it, is that what is going to happen if we're moving forward with Google and Google's moving forward with Bard, and they're just going to overlay Bard right on top of the search results, and they're not going to provide any references? Won't that lower traffic to content partners considerably? Where's that traffic? Well, the traffic has to go somewhere. We're going to take the traffic there. It's going to have to come taken from somewhere else.
Actually, you need to back up. We haven't talked about what BARD is yet.
No, we haven't. What is that? Let's skip to that right now. Skip to it right now.
How about you chat with ChatGPT for a quick explanation?
Just type in BARD to ChatGPT. You guys are good. It's all good.
We don't have a particular question addressing it. So do you want to?
I didn't think we did. Do we? I don't think we mentioned that at BARD. So basically, Google's introduced their Google's approach to ChatGPT is Bard, and unfortunately, they introduced it yesterday, and their stock dropped 9%. They lost $100 billion. 100 million. Was it 100 million or 100 billion? It was 100 billion because the generated answer was incorrect. And it wasn't a big deal, but it was not a big deal, considering that's what they used in their ad. And we don't know how we only have limited information. And even in the test data that I've been able to see, it looks like they're going to layer that on top of the search results. So that's going to be at the top. It's going to be very visible, unlike with ChatGPT and Bing, where they put it off to the side. Correct, Brett? So it's not obtrusive.
Right.
Now Google's going all in. They're going to put that on the top. And if that's a layer on top of the search results,
right,
that's going to siphon off traffic considerably. And so that traffic has to come from somewhere, and it's going to come from these content sites.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
we have to, and that's, so you're asking on the call, if you're a content creator, yeah, you have cause to be concerned because this means this might be one of the first years where you have less Google referrals in general.
So it's time to
than you
focus
did the year
more on
before.
content, time to focus more on content marketing than SEO almost. You implement your SEO strategies, but content marketing, you got to build an audience to keep it, because that audience is not going to come from Google indefinitely.
And let's be clear, they have not said they were going to give references yet. So Anne Marie has said, I thought Bard was giving references. No, they did
Them
not
said,
give any
yeah.
references in their initial demo.
Right.
And even though I and others have been surveyed for feedback on it, that's one of the things we've submitted feedback on. Yes, please provide references, just like with a featured snippet. But we have no idea if Bard's going
Right.
to do that. So
Right.
we're at their mercy. Now, we hope they do. We hope it functions similar to a featured recipe. Hey, here is the information on this. And oh, by the way, I took it from this result.
But
So
more
that you
than-
can go down and click on it.
But more than likely, it's going to be like Google Local, where you got to hunt through an entire screen to try and find that one little icon for the website. You know, and they keep moving that little sucker around. You know?
I think it's in Google's best interest financially to get people to click to websites, because that's where the ads are.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the rub, because they make their money off of display content ads. So if they're doing something to reduce that traffic to those sites, and they also are going to take a hit with reduced display advertising. But I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do
Amy
it.
is absolutely right. Don't neglect your email list. We've been saying this, for many episodes now. Future-proof your audience. Build that email list. Focus on those subscribers, because that's algorithm proof. That's AI proof. You can always email your audiences and build traffic that way.
You know, I think the tone from everybody right now is, oh my gosh, it's all the content's going to be the same because it's all created from AI, and I don't think that's what humans want.
No,
Like,
well,
we
and
always-
it's not true, as Brett has already said. And we've tested it ourselves. We've put the same prompt in, and very rare do we get something that's coming back that is exactly the same. It's just not happening. So we would want to rewrite that content, but it is getting better, guys.
But
Just the prompts we use today is better than the information we got back 7 days ago. It's unbelievable.
I just want to say, like Joanne was asking, in the chat, do we even bother to humanize our posts anymore? And my answer is absolutely yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because as I always say, write for your readers, not for Google, right? So you don't want to have the whole long random story like people used to do, 20 years ago on their blogs that are off topic. But yes, they want to read you. And that's, I think, the way to combat this is to not have everything be the same standard generic stuff.
And ChatGPT is not quite the expert. We still have people who are experts in so many things. And I think Google even said that they're still interested in that EAT, right? That original quality of work.
Yeah. EEAT now, but yes.
Is that
Very much. Yeah.
I mean, look, it also, I definitely think it also will depend on the query type and what the intent behind it, what the user is looking for. So I think there's still a lot of unknown and about how Google's going to handle things. I think before we went live, we were talking about, and I might be wrong, and Brett, Casey, correct me if I'm wrong. When featured snippets came out, they didn't attribute those to people at first also, right? When they started pushing them out, and then everybody made enough noise, and now they get read more at the bottom there. So it might come out and not be what we want it to be, but like Casey said, like Andrew said, they still need to make money at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's right.
Right.
And they're not going to cut their nose off in spite of their face. So they're going to do something to make sure that this display advertising is still worthwhile for all of you on the call. And that
but I think the fear is it's going to end up like mobile, where they have one big chunk of an answer right there on top, and then the rest of the first page is going to be nothing but ads. You want to get to organic? Do you have to go to page 2? They haven't said yet.
Hey, there's no page 2 anymore, Brett. I don't know if you heard that. We have this thing called infinite scrolling. Everyone on this call has page 1 results.
It's so hard to adjust to not saying page 1. I'm constantly catching myself on our calls.
This is all page 1 results here, folks.
Right.
Yeah, people don't get the humor in that, but it's funny.
Okay. Casey, for people who are not into food blogging and like different niches, is the prompts going to be the same when going to ChatGPT? Should they be maybe asking different questions? Maybe they're travel bloggers, maybe they're medical, anything. We lost you for a second.
You're muted, Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
I
hear
tell you. So what happened was that was the long arm of AI reaching out to prevent me from pasting over all of the really awesome prompts that I had ready to go here for you. So we're going to try that again and see if we can get them over. But we're having some problems today.
Yeah. We'll save all
pasting
this too
over.
for the recap for everybody who can't catch it in the chat.
Now let's go with everyone here and see if this will work.
I'm in suspense. We're all waiting.
Well, now Casey's frozen.
Oh no, he is frozen. Oh it really is coming after him.
I'm gonna
His wife
unfriend
got
him
home
on
and
all
discovered
social
it
media.
wasn't in
I don't want to be associated with him.
It's ironic because the power actually went out on him, and wasn't that his excuse about the
Right.
dishwasher? We've come full circle. There he is. We've got two of them.
Whoa, two Caseys.
You guys won't believe this, but I actually had a robot come on my screen and tell me to cut it out.
Yeah.
So I'm not allowed to paste anything over into the chat window anymore. And it showed me some pictures from my college days. So I can't, that's all I know. So clearly that's not good. I'm just telling you right now that it clearly has something against
You
me.
got
But
attacked
yes.
by Russian AI who's got
We're
a
gonna
gun
do
on you.
Do you have any you could just tell us about, and then we'll share this in the recap?
Absolutely. So the really cool thing about this is that if you go over to ChatGPT, all of you can literally just type in, can you please generate some prompts for the recipe niche if I'm a recipe blogger, and it will generate a huge amount of a wealth of recipe ideation and topics, things like how to generate a recipe for healthy vegetarian dish that can be made under 30 minutes. How can I create a recipe for a classic dessert that is gluten-free and dairy-free? I have these 3 ingredients. Can you please generate a list of dishes that I can make within 30 minutes? Can you create me a recipe for a hearty soup that is perfect for cold winter days? It's endless. It's not even remotely close. It's crazy. Like I said, I'm going to try to paste them in, but I expect that the robot overlord will pop up again here any minute. So we'll see what happens here. Oh, looks like that worked. We got them in. So in that case, there's a couple that you can take a look at, but it's pretty crazy. There is a lot you can do. And this is a way for you to supercharge your ideation. This is a way for you to, increase seasonality. Valentine's Day is almost here. It's next week. Really cool. Go in, type in. Could you generate me a list of vegan recipes for couples for Valentine's Day? It is going to blow your mind. And then look at that for content gaps. Okay, well, wow, this is cool. There's 10 here. I don't have these 6 on my website. Maybe I can do a roundup and I can seek out some other content gaps and share this pretty quickly. Or, I'm going to have nachos at my Super Bowl party. Can you generate me 6 nacho recipes that I can go ahead and take a look at and choose which one you want? But yeah, it's, you can never have too many nachos. I'm going to have at least 3 types of nachos at my Super Bowl party. I mean, come on.
We've got somebody
At
who
least.
asks, does Casey always use please and thank you when prompting ChatGPT? And I think you should always be polite to AI.
Oh, absolutely. And
Just in case.
guys,
You never know. The robot overlords might be touchy
Right.
about.
Right.
Yeah.
Just in case.
did you see that? Yeah, no, guys, I do it all the time. Even because I even do it to my Alexa. I even say please and thank you. Because if they do take over the world, I want them to remember that I was nice to them.
Alexa will actually prompt back with something saying about a giving tree and adding leaves to it. And I'm like, that scares me a little. She's literally counting the thank yous. So as far as I'm concerned, being polite, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. Just an extra step there. And let me tell you, I really did appreciate those excuses to get out of me forgetting to load the dishwasher. So I'm just telling you, always be polite.
Yeah.
I'm all good.
So Andrew, do you have any favorite ChatGPT based Google Chrome extensions that you've been using?
I actually haven't been using any, to be totally honest. But Casey was kind enough to provide me with a link to an article that has 6 good extensions. There's so many different things you can do with this. So I'm not sure what that question was asking for, right? Because you could use ChatGPT for helping you tweet better, right? As you write the prompt where you are. So I think the idea of the extension, though, is that you don't have to go over to the ChatGPT interface and use it and then come back. You can use it where you are. So yeah, you can take a look at some of the extensions in there. And depending on which browser you use, you'll have different options.
Awesome. Thank you. So Brett, are there any other uses for AI in SEO? For example, we've seen people create like full web pages, and I've even seen people create apps.
Oh yeah. ChatGPT as a programmer is the scary one. When they did ChatGPT 2, it didn't take off last year like they wanted it to. It just didn't take off hardly at all. So they went down this kind of niche of trying to do individual transformers. And one of the first ones they did was programming. And so they fed it all PHP, and then they fed it all Perl, and then they fed it all this and every major programming language. And it's very, very good at programming. There's a long blog post out there about a guy who made a Twitter clone using ChatGPT in about 8 hours, and it's start to finish a Twitter clone. It's just absolutely mind blowing how good it is. So I use it all the time. I actually do. I'm a programmer by trade, and for like WordPress plugins, it's outstanding at WordPress plugins. The less complicated, the better, of course. Keep it simple, keep it stupid.
Yeah.
So you got that as a programmer. Then you got things like, let me run down my list here. Translating language. It's great at translating, through a whole bunch of stuff, correcting grammar, simplifying or expanding text, summarizing text. It's awesome at summarizing stuff. I use it all the time for that. Brainstorming and idea generation. In fact, summarizing text, there's a Chrome plugin that an extension that allows you to go to any YouTube video, and then it pulls in the text from the caption, the closed captioning, and then summarizes the video for you, so you don't have to go watch the entire video.
Nice.
Keyword analysis, detecting correlations, brainstorming. We've talked about ideation nonstop here. Analyze the content of a web page for keywords and classification. Metadata, social media, obviously ads and posts. Have it write see what it comes up with for a Facebook ad. It'll come up with something creative all the time.
It'll definitely do that. It'll write all your ads for you.
Yeah, it's great. So, somebody posted on a meme on Twitter about, Google's AI already writes your ads. I responded, yeah, Google's AI writes your ads so that they can make more money. I mean, I want ChatGPT to write an ad so that I make more money. And there is a definite difference there. So, it's all, I got it baked into everything I do now. If I'm having problems coming up with content at all, I immediately go to ChatGPT and ask it a question, and it kicks off a good creative storm for me. So I'm using it all over the place. So
yeah, I think I put a lot of my fears to rest too when I first started hearing about how much people are integrating it into their work, because I was like, will there be a need for any of us after this? But everything I read makes me feel a lot better. I know we already said this earlier, but it does need a human touch at the end of the day. So I love that. Casey, some people are kind of inaccurately talking about it being the death of SEO, but do you agree at all? Or what do you think, I guess?
Crystal Ball says no. The thing is that it's a great language model. It's great at creating content. It doesn't take the place of search engine optimization. It doesn't take the place of the many decades of experience that are on this call. It doesn't take the place of our learned processes and what we know will work and what won't. SEO is complex and continually changing. We have Google alone goes through dozens, if not hundreds of changes a day, thousands of algorithmic adjustments a year. That makes what we do compelling and continuously relevant, because we have to adjust to change that. Any SEO worth their weight knows that SEO involves everything from keyword research to content creation to schema to link building to UX justification to auditing to whatever. And we have to wear many hats, and there isn't one tool that's going to replace all those hats. I think that, especially Arsen and I think we provide extremely competent and very professional audits. Those are going to be impossible to replace by one piece of software. So not worried.
Awesome. We're short on time here, so I just want to get to a couple questions before we go. And it kind of ties into what I had for the panel to wrap up with, but it's the future. We've got a question from Chula, and does anyone have any idea when ChatGPT 4 will be released? Is it moving fast? Should we be worried about how quickly it's going?
Well, they said it's this year.
Okay.
They just
That's
didn't
it.
say when. That's
And
it.
you know, the last thing Sam Altman said was, "Don't look for it anytime soon." He said,
So-
"You're going to be disappointed." So
Yeah.
they're going to set on it. They're working with Bing right now. That's all they're worried about. Their focus is right now on satisfying their commitments to Microsoft. So
no Terminator style cyborgs coming to get us.
no, it's going to be a while. I don't think we'll see ChatGPT 4 until probably the fall.
Very cool. Another question from Janelle. If BART is taking multiple sources to spit out the best one answer, how and will or can it give reference?
We have no idea, and neither does I don't think there's anyone that can tell us that. We have no idea. So if I assume that it's going to provide some kind of, if it's taking the majority of the answer from one source, that's what we'll see the citation, and we'll see what we see. Maybe we won't. I don't know.
And okay, so I know we talked about this earlier too, about, Google seeming to not really care, but do you think that there will be a digital watermark for, content created using ChatGPT eventually?
Or any kind of AI. I
Yeah,
think.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wasn't ChatGPT saying that they were going to work on that, and that's
Yeah.
going to be available soon?
Yeah, but
Yeah, well, I think-
it's going to be easily circumvented. I mean, honestly, the only way they could come up with a watermark is if they kept every bit of output and give it a hash code and then compared the hash code to something somebody submitted. So it's going to be just as easily beatable as what we have now.
I think for text,
Arson, quiet.
I think that's for text. Imagery is a little different, right? That's much easier.
Yes, that's true. Very true. And if you haven't tried Midjourney yet, go try Midjourney. It's like Dolly on steroids.
Mhm.
And then find the community feed on Midjourney, and you'll get this constant feed of high quality images that is just stunning. I can sit there and watch it like a movie. I caught myself, I was about 30 minutes into it the other day.
Same. It's beautiful. It's also really inspiring. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Really, this was such a hot topic, and I feel like we covered a lot of bases here today. Brett, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. This was fun.
It's been lovely. We are going to Tastemakers next month. Top Hat Rank and Nerd Press will be sponsoring the conference in Chicago. So be sure to come up to the 3rd floor and say hi to us if you're going to be attending. We'll be excited to see some of our clients and maybe some potential new clients in the future in person.
Where's that at in Chicago? Where's that at?
It's
Yeah, in Chicago.
Franklin Park.
Right. And then Brett's conference, which is one of our favorite, PopCon,
Yep.
is end of this month.
Mhm.
Casey and I will be in Austin speaking at this conference. Those of you who are in the area, definitely check it out. popcon.com. Definitely.
Arson and I will be sober on Tuesday. We will not be sober on Monday. So I want to make sure that you understand that if you're coming to our session on Tuesday, I will be alert. Not so much on Sunday night and Monday. So I just want to make sure I preference that right now.
And wear
So-
dark clothes, Arson, because if you're going to be eating all that barbecue, I know how you can get.
Right. When I have to zip it up.
Right.
Right. So if you're in Austin, definitely check it out.
Thank
or
you.
its surrounding area, come and meet us. Come and check it out. There's going to be a lot of SEO information, a lot of SEO brains at this show. Always a lot of fun.
Google and Microsoft will both be there, and they're both talking AI. So
Fantastic. It's going to be awesome.
All right, guys. Well, thank you, everybody who
Thank
did
you.
this today. Thank you so much again, as always, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.